Hello everyone, today I'll be talking about vulnerability management and vulnerability assessment. And I'll also be conducting a lab on vulnerability management. So first of all, what is vulnerability management? Vulnerability management is the practice of finding and mitigating vulnerabilities in computers and networks. And vulnerability assessment is a part of vulnerability management, and it seeks to identify any issues in a network, application, database, or other systems prior to it being used that might compromise the system. And yeah, we have the vulnerability management process. So according to this diagram, it's basically just four steps. And step one is that we identify the vulnerabilities. So this this could be, when you've checked your assets, you want to know what are the vulnerabilities on those assets, or if you carried out a vulnerability scan on the network and you saw some vulnerabilities. So that has to do with the identification of vulnerabilities. Then we'll go to step two, where you evaluating and prioritizing vulnerabilities. So what this means is you conduct vulnerability assessment and risk assessment here. So you want to know how much how much risk that vulnerability poses to your company or to the system. Then we'll go to step three, reporting vulnerabilities. So this is where, depending on the workflow, when vulnerabilities are detected in some companies, you could just create a ticket, and forward the information to the ITSM team, and that will lead us to step four, remediating the identified vulnerabilities. So this has to do with fixing all issues with the system, making sure all the vulnerabilities are patched, and making reports and learning from all activities that have taken place regarding the vulnerability, just to make sure you're prepared next time. So to perform my practical demo, I'll be using Nessus. And Nessus is a vulnerability scanner developed by Tenable, and it's free and open source. So right, that's it for the introduction, and we'll be heading over to my home lab now to perform the practical. Okay, for this lab I'll be using two virtual machines, and here is my Kali Linux virtual machine where I have my Nessus vulnerability scanner installed, and I'll be scanning my Windows 10 virtual machine, which is this. So to start Nessus, we tap in the command. Okay, and we hit enter. So to confirm if Nessus has started, we can just use the command and swap start for status. Okay, as you can see, active and running. So to launch on my web browser, okay, so it's loading. Yeah, and now I can input my username and password. Okay, I'll be scanning my Windows 10 virtual machine, so I can just click on new scan. And right now I'll just perform a basic scan just to see what we're going to get. Then after performing the basic scan, I'll be performing a credentials scan. So the credentials scan goes a bit deeper, like it runs a more advanced scan. So right now I just want to run the basic scan, so I can just name it maybe Windows 10 virtual machine. And here I need to input the IP address of my target. So I can just come over here and type in the command ipconfig. Okay, so here's the IP address of my Windows 10 machine, which is 10.0.2.5. So I come back to my Nessus vulnerability scanner and I input the IP address. And here I can just launch my scan. So it's launching. So here it is over here, as you can see. It's scanning right now and it might take some time. So I'll pause the video and come back when it's done. Alright, our scan is complete. And if I should just go ahead to open the scan. Okay, we can see that we have some vulnerabilities. And looking at the map here, or should I say looking at this graph, we'll see that blue is for the information, low, yellow is for low, I think orange is for medium, and this kind of looks like red is for high, and for red is for critical. So let's open the vulnerabilities for more information. Yes, we can see we have mixed vulnerabilities here. That's why it's purple. We have some high vulnerabilities. But let me just open this. Okay, we have a critical vulnerability here. And the thing about Nessus is that it gives you a lot of detail about the vulnerability. And if I should just open this, okay, it tells us it's Microsoft SQL Server unsupported version detection. So, and it also gives us the solution. If you look here, it says we should upgrade to a version of Microsoft SQL Server that is currently supported. And looking at this, we see the risk information over here. We see that it has a CVSS of 10. So let me just talk about CVSS. I'll just Google it here. If I should open this. So it stands for the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, and it's a free and open industry standard for assessing the severity of computer system vulnerabilities. Looking here, it says the scores range from 0 to 10, with 10 being the most severe. So going back to our scan, you can see that this vulnerability has a score of 10 on the CVSS scoring system. So this is a very critical vulnerability, and so I'll be demonstrating how we can remediate vulnerabilities now. So if I should go back to my Windows 10 virtual machine, and we need to look for the, let me just go back to my, we need to look for this version of SQL Server, which is this. So currently we have the version 13.0.5, and it's telling us we should upgrade it to the version 13.0.6. So we need to search for that online here. So I'll just paste the link over here. Okay, so this is it, and let's go into the details to confirm. Yes, this is the version. So I'll be downloading this right now. Okay, it's downloading. Let me pause the video here and come back when it's done. Okay, our download has been completed, so I'll just run it now. So it's extracting. So the reason we are doing this, we're trying to remediate. You know, our vulnerabilities can have found critical vulnerabilities, so we're trying to remediate to, and then run the scan again to see if, you know, like just to make sure the vulnerability is no longer critical. Yeah, so that's the purpose of the remediation, to make sure those vulnerabilities are no longer on the network. So I accept the terms here and click on next. Okay, click on next. So I think I'll just like pause the video here again so the installation doesn't take too much time, and I'll come back when it's completed. Okay, our update was successful, as you can see on the screen. So what I'll do now, I'm going to restart the Windows 10 virtual machine. So in case there's any update that, waiting for the system to be started before it can be installed, I'm going to restart the machine. And when I come back, we're going to go back to the vulnerability scanner and rerun our scan to see if that vulnerability still exists. Okay, I've restarted my Windows 10 virtual machine. And now what we're doing is we'll be going back to our vulnerability scanner in Nessus, and we'll be scanning this virtual machine again just to make sure we've remediated the vulnerability. So I go back to my Nessus Essentials. I go back. Okay, so here's the scan, and I will just rerun it again. So no need to make any changes to my configurations. I just click on launch, and you see our scan has started. So again, I'm gonna pause the video here and come back when the scan is completed. Okay, the scan is completed. Now let's go into our scan to see if we successfully remediated the vulnerability. Okay, as you can see, looking at this, we no longer have any critical vulnerabilities, but we can just go into the result of the scan to get a clearer picture. As you can see, we no longer have the critical vulnerability of the SQL server. But if I should just go back and looking into my history, this was the search that just completed, and here was our previous search. So if I click on this, you see the critical vulnerability is still there. This was before we remediated it. Now this is after our remediation, so that vulnerability is gone. So this demo was just we just demonstrate how you could you know scan for vulnerabilities using a vulnerability scanner and how you can remediate such vulnerabilities. I also want to talk about some other resources that Nessus offers, and let me just go into our scan. So I can generate a report with Nessus. So if I should just click on report now, and I just click generate report, so it's generating. So this is in case you want to generate report for maybe your senior managers or administrators or your team. Nessus can do that for you, and I can just open my web browser. I click OK. So this is it. This is the result of our scan in a PDF format. So as you can see, it tells us there's no critical vulnerability, and yeah, so this is the power of Nessus, strong and very top vulnerability scanner. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.